of the French 75.
Bitch, I felt like Tony Montana!
Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home, and I cannot.
One battle after another has generated a wave of anticipation and curiosity among film fans because of the way it brings together themes of conflict, survival, and human resilience within a narrative that feels both personal and expansive. The film is built around the idea that life rarely offers a single decisive victory or defeat. Instead, it unfolds as a series of continuous struggles where each challenge gives rise to another. This concept gives the story its emotional core, presenting characters who are constantly forced to adapt, endure, and confront new obstacles. Even when they believe they have finally reached a moment of peace, the story follows a central character whose life has been shaped by a history of difficult choices, fractured relationships, and moments of loss that never fully healed. Rather than focusing on one isolated conflict, the narrative traces how earlier battles, both literal and emotional, continue to echo through the present. The character is portrayed not as a traditional hero, but as someone carrying the weight of past mistakes, trying to navigate a world that keeps demanding more from them than they feel capable of giving. This layered characterization allows the audience to see the toll that constant struggle can take on a person's sense of identity and purpose. As the plot unfolds, the film explores different forms of conflict, from interpersonal tensions and moral dilemmas to larger, societal pressures that shape the environment in which the characters live. These battles are not always fought with weapons or raised voices. Often they are internal, taking place in moments of silence where the character must decide whether to keep fighting or finally walk away. This approach creates a narrative that feels grounded and emotionally authentic, because it reflects the reality that many of the hardest battles people face are invisible to others. The pacing of the film mirrors the unpredictability of real life. Moments of intense confrontation are followed by quieter scenes where the consequences of those confrontations begin to sink in. These transitions allow the audience to fully absorb the emotional impact of each event, making the story feel less like a sequence of dramatic set pieces and more like a continuous journey shaped by cause and effect. Every decision made by the characters sets off a chain reaction that influences what comes next, reinforcing the idea that one battle inevitably leads to another. Visually, the film adopts a style that emphasizes realism and intimacy. The camera often stays close to the characters, capturing subtle changes in their expressions and body language. This focus on small details helps communicate emotions that are never spoken aloud, such as hesitation, regret, or determination. The environments in which the story unfolds also play a significant role, reflecting the psychological state of the characters. Harsh lighting, confined spaces, or chaotic settings are used to symbolize the pressures closing in around them, while more open and calm environments appear only briefly, suggesting that peace is temporary and fragile. Another important aspect of the film is its exploration of relationships under stress. Friendships, romantic bonds, and family connections are all tested as the characters are forced to make difficult choices that may hurt the people they care about. The film does not present these conflicts in simple terms of right and wrong. Instead, it shows how even well-intentioned decisions can lead to unintended consequences. This moral complexity adds depth to the narrative, encouraging viewers to reflect on how they might act. In similar situations, the title itself reflects the film's central philosophy that life is a chain of struggles, and overcoming one challenge does not guarantee lasting stability. This theme is reinforced through the character's journey, which shows moments of triumph quickly overshadowed by new problems. Rather than presenting this cycle as hopeless, the film suggests that resilience is found not in avoiding conflict, but in continuing to move forward despite it. The characters learn that growth often comes from hardship, and that each battle, while painful, shapes who they become. The film also examines the psychological effects of living in a constant state of tension. Over time, the main character begins to show signs of exhaustion, anxiety, and emotional detachment. These reactions are portrayed with sensitivity, highlighting how prolonged stress can erode a person's ability to trust others or even themselves. By focusing on these internal struggles, the story goes beyond surface-level drama and delves into the mental health aspects of surviving repeated conflict, an angle that resonates strongly with modern audiences who are increasingly aware of the importance of psychological well-being. Sound design and music are used sparingly but effectively to enhance the emotional tone of the film. Rather than overwhelming the audience with constant background music, the film often allows scenes to unfold in near silence, making every sound, whether it is a distant argument, a door closing, or a sudden outburst, feel more significant. When music does appear, it tends to be understated and melancholic, reinforcing the sense that the characters are carrying burdens they cannot easily set down. As the narrative progresses, the character is confronted with choices that force them to reevaluate their priorities and the meaning of victory. Earlier in the story, success might have been defined as defeating an opponent or escaping a dangerous situation. Later, the definition shifts toward more personal goals, such as protecting loved ones, finding inner peace, or simply breaking free from destructive patterns. This evolution reflects a deeper understanding of what it means to truly win in a world where external circumstances are often beyond one's control. The film's dialogue plays a key role in conveying its themes, often using simple, direct language that feels natural and unscripted. Characters speak the way real people do when they are tired, frustrated, or afraid, which makes their conversations more believable and emotionally impactful. Some of the most powerful moments occur not during dramatic confrontations, but in quiet exchanges where characters admit their fears or acknowledge the toll their lives have taken on them. These scenes provide a sense of vulnerability that balances the more intense moments of conflict. Symbolism is woven subtly throughout the film, with recurring images and situations that mirror the characters' emotional states. Broken objects, unfinished tasks, and repetitive routines serve as visual reminders of the cycles the characters are trapped in. These symbols are never explained outright, allowing viewers to interpret their meaning and connect them to the broader themes of endurance and repetition. This understated use of symbolism adds an extra layer of depth for those who look beyond the surface of the story. The supporting characters are not merely background figures, but individuals with their own struggles and perspectives. Their interactions with the main character help illustrate how one person's battles can ripple outward, affecting everyone around them. Some characters choose to stand by the protagonist despite the chaos, while others drift away, unable to cope with the constant turmoil. This dynamic underscores the idea that repeated conflict can reshape not only an individual's life, but also their entire social circle. As the film approaches its later stages, the sense of tension intensifies, not through a single explosive climax, but through a gradual accumulation of unresolved issues. Old conflicts resurface just as new ones emerge, creating a feeling that the character is being pulled in multiple directions at once. This layered buildup reflects the film's commitment to portraying life as messy and unpredictable rather than neatly structured. The audience is left wondering whether the character will finally break under the pressure or find a way to redefine what it means to keep fighting. The resolution of the story avoids presenting a perfectly tidy conclusion. Instead of tying up every loose end, the film leaves certain questions unanswered, reinforcing its central message that life rarely provides complete closure. The character reaches a point of temporary stability, but there are clear indications that new challenges will eventually arise. This open-ended approach feels consistent with the film's philosophy, suggesting that the true measure of strength lies not in achieving a final victory but in maintaining the courage to face whatever comes next throughout its runtime. One battle after another maintains a strong emotional through-line by focusing on the human cost of conflict. Rather than glorifying struggle, it shows how exhausting and disorienting it can be to live in a state of constant confrontation. At the same time, it acknowledges the resilience that allows people to survive even the most overwhelming circumstances. This balanced perspective prevents the film from becoming either overly bleak or unrealistically optimistic, instead presenting a nuanced portrait of perseverance. The film's impact comes from the way it invites viewers to reflect on their own experiences with hardship and persistence. Many people can relate to the feeling of solving one problem only to be confronted with another, and the story taps into that universal frustration while also offering a quiet message of hope. By the end, the audience is encouraged to see struggle not as a sign of failure, but as an inevitable part of growth and change. In the broader landscape of contemporary cinema, One Battle After Another stands out for its commitment to character-driven storytelling and thematic depth. It resists the temptation to rely solely on spectacle or easy emotional manipulation, choosing instead to build its power.